What color is our Creator Yahweh? What color are all His prophets? What color is the nation of Israel? How many tribes of Israel? What's the name of the fourth tribe? What did Yahweh choose Judah to do? How long? How long is forever? Who is Judah? What did Yahweh choose Judah to do? How long? Yahweh chose who? He chose me. Yahweh chose who? He chose me. Yahweh chose who? He chose me. You don't know that. You can't say that. Praise Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. I'd like to testify to you that Yahweh is God. Yahweh is God supreme. Yahweh is God over all gods. And He makes you God over everybody else. And you are the children of Yahweh. All of you that believe in Yahweh are the children of Yahweh. I'm the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge. I'm the Grand Supreme Master Architect of the universe. People that don't know anything about Yahweh have a lot of trouble coming from the carnal mind to the spiritual. It's just an impossible gap. If you don't have the Spirit of Yahweh in you, you're carnally minded. And to be carnally minded is to be suffer from death, a dead mind. So we had some men that came to see us today that were carnally minded, dead minded, and that's the way they left. Because they didn't come seeking me. They come to challenge me, to disprove me, which is impossible. Even white people know you can't do that. They admit that. They admit that my proclamation, my self-proclamation, is a matter of faith. And when you deal with the matter of faith, you can't disprove that. You can reject it, or you can accept it, but you can't disprove it. So Satan doesn't try. He simply comes out and shoots mind games on people to hope to hinder those who would come. So he'll print the truth, but then he'll put falsehood all around it. That's called mixing truth with falsehood. What's the purpose of mixing truth with falsehood? Hoping that those who are carnal minded, won't hold on to the truth, that they'll grab the falsehood. Because there are some minds that are weak and susceptible to falsehood. And that's where trouble comes to the person. Read Romans 8:6.
For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
But to have spiritual mind is to have life and be full of peace. And when you're full of peace, you don't have to search. So I don't need to go see nobody who say he's God, or son, or nothing else. Because I know who I am. And whatever he says, I know I'm going to force him to deal with me. But I don't have to deal with any of them, but they have to deal with me. That's what makes me God. One of them was talking, he said, he couldn't say this, and he couldn't say that. I said, you're right. You can't say it because you're not God. The reason you can't say it is because you're not God. The reason I can say it is because I am. It doesn't matter whether they believe that or not. It doesn't matter. It's a fact. It says something about, you mean you made the sun, moon, and stars? I said, I made the sun, moon, and stars, and you too. Tried to laugh, but they were astounded. It's a terrible thing to be carnally minded, what I'm seeing here. To be carnally minded is you have a fleshly mind. It's just everything you do is fleshly. The whole earth belongs to Yahweh. It does one no good to say the earth does not belong to Yahweh unless you know Yahweh. And then if you know Yahweh, you won't say that. To understand who Yahweh is, you have to be spiritual minded. Now let's read verse 7. Read.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against Yahweh, for it is not subject to the law of Yahweh, neither indeed can be.
And read verse 8 while we're at it.
So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Yahweh.
Now all who was in my office today saw that very clearly. And all of you should be able to see it clearly just by studying these words. The carnal mind is enmity. What does the word enmity mean? It's hatred against Yahweh. And it's absolutely amazing to see enmity against Yahweh through anybody. But I gave you 7 years of experience in the trenches of the ghetto. And you had direct experience of people whose minds were enmity against Yahweh. You experienced for 7 years the carnal-minded people. They have no reverence for that which is holy, good, and righteous. And everything that Yahweh does, we know it is good. And those with the carnal mind don't like it. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Those whose mind is carnal and enmity against Yahweh, it wouldn't make any difference if I gave the food away at Yahweh's grocery. They wouldn't come get it. They'd rather drive 50 miles to the KKK and pay 100 times the value than to come to Yahweh, their salvation. That's the nature of the carnal mind. Before my people, the so-called blacks of America, can ever hope to be saved, they have to be brought from a carnal state to a spiritual state. And when I say spiritual state, I'm not speaking of a ghost. Not speaking of the spiritual state as the Christians teach. No, no, no. No, no, no. Spiritual mind has to do with the very mind of Yahweh, the Creator himself. To be spiritually minded, listen again, is to be of the mind of the Creator. That is what spiritual mind means. The carnal mind is the mind of Satan, the devil. Who is he? The opposer of Yahweh. He's the opposer of the way of life given by the Creator. And Satan, the devil, is a carnal-minded person who, whatever Yahweh says do, he goes against that. So we have the laws of the Creator, Yahweh, in the Bible, and the opposer is Satan himself, regardless of his color. Just imagine, if all men of earth were to come and follow me, there would be peace on the earth forever. because I'm the Prince of Peace. And it's not simply saying that I'm the Prince of Peace. It is what I bring to the earth, the message I bring. To embrace me is to embrace my message. To embrace my message is to embrace me, because there is no way to distinguish me from my message. I and my message are one. I do not live separate from my message. I live the message that I preach, demonstrating that it's possible to practice my message. Then I raise up the most lawless people on earth, the most uncivilized people on earth, the most savage people on earth, the most ignorant people on earth, the so-called black people of America, that the whole earth has come and looked upon our dead bodies, walking the streets of the hells of North America, obsessed with drugs, prostitution, immorality, the breaking of Yahweh's law, men and women, boys and girls. And I've taken you and resurrected you out from that. Caused you to give up the dress of the enemy, the opposer to how even God dresses. And I have yet put you in the culture that belongs to you from our Father Yahweh. Right in the midst of hell in America, I have resurrected you and dressed you in white, showing that I have caused you to be pure. I have purified you out of the midst of filth. And you are a marvel to the world. You are my testimony of my power and the power of my message. And you that live around me all the time,